Recently, I've been having these conversations with ChatGPT where I've been taking personality tests and sending the results to ChatGPT for synthesis and for analysis. And I think it's a pretty cool thing to do. I always tell my friends to do this, but using AI to its fullest capability in discovering yourself because you can take all these personality tests but not have the ability to synthesize it because you just lack the knowledge. Where you can use a open database like ChatGPT to get it to synthesize for you and ask it for sources that you can learn to further your knowledge about yourself. And through that, I've taken most of what it told me and kind of synthesized and kind of just tried to put my own words to it so I can explain it to you because it's something very relevant to me, first of all. So probably before you watch this video, know that this is advice directed towards me and the way that I process emotions and things like that. Because the three things I will be talking about, sexuality, creativity, and purpose, are really just three things that are label-less, that don't need labels, but just have labels so that you can understand them. And for different people, they could be called different things. They could be called energy, form, or direction, or something like that. Different things for different people, but in essence, they mean the same thing. And I'm only using these words because they're what I identify them with currently. And these three things, they form a triangle, a trifecta, that are a cycle within itself. How these three feed each other, and how you need to make sure that all these three are maintained and fed well, so it's aligned and in harmony, working together. So, to explain it one by one, we begin with sexuality, which isn't directly just sex, but it's just desire and primal energy. So what that is, it's just like hunger, and how um, us as a species, there are certain things that we need satisfied, like hunger, shelter, safety. Another thing is sex and the desire to procreate, to further ourselves so that we don't get extinct, that kind of stuff. So for someone else, that could be hunger, and it's really just raw energy, and it's really called that because I take raw energy and channel it through that, which taken to an extreme would be lust, but in control, that's just your primal desire and just raw energy and how it comes to you. And to further explain it, I remember in a previous video I talked about the universe and how there's a universal energy that is transmitted to you. And for me, I call it universal energy. For another person, they could call it God. They could call it something else depending on your belief system. My belief system leads me to call it the universe. I get energy from the universe. I get ideas, abstract ideas, feelings and sensations from the universe, and they are inherently wordless because they're just energy. It's an energy or a vibration or a frequency, and these things come to you in currents. Imagine a river. Sometimes the river is quiet and you don't even see it moving, but it's moving so slowly and it feels still. And other times it could be crashing and just throwing water at you, and you just feel intense, and it's a barrage of just ideas and everything. So your water varies, and you experience it in currents. You feel energy. It's pure. It's wordless, and it comes to you oftentimes in sensations, and people call it intuition. So the universe gives you this kind of energy. You can channel it through hunger. You can channel it through sexual thoughts, sexuality. You can channel it through whatever. But what I mean is that this first aspect, sexuality, is just a way to describe energy, raw energy. And the next thing is creativity, which is form. And if you've known about my stuff with form and formlessness, my philosophy about form and formlessness, creativity is really just form. It's language, art, symbols, words, ways to describe yourself, movement. Really, it really is just shape, taking a feeling and putting shape to it and expressing it. So you feel these feelings from the universe, they're given to you wordless, and you just feel them. But as soon as you add a label to it, as soon as you describe it with a word, as soon as you move your body to it, it becomes form. And that's you injecting creativity into your energy. And next is purpose. So that would be direction. And that's the more objective side of things, which could be value, meaning, goals, and motivation. It's a more logical thing, whereas the first two are kind of emotional and that kind of thing. But purpose is really the logic that ties it all together. It's kind of you have this energy. Where do you point it towards? Is it a goal? Is it something useless? Because without the purpose, it would be pointless and it would be meaningless, and it would just be you expending your energy for nothing. But purpose does what it says. It just adds purpose. And now these three things as a trifecta work together. They revitalize each other. It's kind of a cycle, and they repeat. And you need to make sure that you're satisfying all three. And you can lack one without the other, and you can notice that in certain effects, like desire fuels expression, expression creates meaning, and meaning dignifies the desire. So it's a loop, it's a continuous loop. And this is likely what most artists experience. But even if you don't do art, or if you don't create art, you can channel this through other things in your life that you do, other things in your life that you're passionate about, things that you feel the need to do. It's kind of a cycle. And like I said earlier, there are different names for them. People can consider it different things. And in my words, this is how I'm explaining it. And they need each other. Just like how I've written down, sexuality without creativity is abstraction without form, and excess without moderation. Like how I said, if you don't control your desires and all that stuff, it turns into lust, it turns into excess. If you don't control your creative thoughts and you don't give them shape, they're just abstraction, which could be called meaningless, it could be called excessive. And creativity without purpose is aimless wandering. It's kind of just creating something but not knowing where to put it, which isn't that bad. But I want to be an artist who has a purpose, and I want to create art that goes somewhere. That's not just for the sake of creating. And not to say that that's bad. I think as an exercise, we all just create things that we don't think have anything to be done with it. Like journaling, that's kind of creating without purpose because your only goal is to journal. But that in itself is a goal. So everything kind of has a purpose. But you just need to be able to identify what that purpose is. It's emptiness, it's an empty expression without purpose. And purpose without sexuality is burnout because you just don't have the energy. Because when you have the purpose but not the energy, you could probably it feels like you're just dragging yourself around because you don't want to do it. You're not revitalized by the energy from the universe or by your own desire. And all this really is just transmuting energy, embodying energy, expressing energy, and finding reason to express that energy. So you can think about it as a process, the process of the artist, how we are given energy and we embody that energy. How I've said in a few videos how I feel like I need to be the vessel of the universe, a vessel of the universe who is given this energy from the universe. And my only job, my only duty is to channel that, express it through art, transmute the energy, and rather than keep it locked up inside you, you need to circulate it and express it in a meaningful and purposeful way. If I miss something in this, among these three things, I, for example, keep the energy locked within myself. I have these fantasies and desires and thoughts that I don't express at all. It's going to be locked up in here, and I'm going to have a lot of tension, and I'm not going to feel satisfied at all. Or if I don't have the purpose to do it, then I'm going to feel like I'm just burning myself out because I'm doing all these things without any meaning, without any purpose, and without direction. So I need to be very mindful with how I'm satisfying these three things. And I do suggest you find your three things. These three things are inherently the same, and you can have your own names for it. But this is just the way that my personality is. This is how I describe those three, and the way that I channel my energy. But for most people, I assume the energy can be channeled in a similar way, especially for an artist, where you kind of have to express it. You have to embody it and transmute your desire in certain ways, because you know, since we are humans and advanced beings, we can feel the desire to eat and choose not to eat, the desire to procreate and choose not to procreate, something like that, and how we can consciously be aware of that. And that's something that I want to take advantage of and use that energy that the universe gives me, that hormones give me, that whatever, and create art through that, create something meaningful through that. And from those things, just that understanding that kind of teaches me a lot of things, and I just wanted to share it because I've always had the idea of these things, but now that I put a name on it and I've gotten help from AI to name these things, it's kind of I know there are more things I can learn from it, and it's been a while since I made a video like this. I think the last video I made was the ones where I was talking about form and formlessness, but this is something to kind of expand my own philosophy and things that I'm explaining myself, and I think that's it's a good thing. And I don't know, just the idea of having raw energy and being able to mold it with meaning. It's just a way to explain what I've always been doing and what I've always wanted to do. And yeah, I think the only goal in this video was to explain. That's about all I have to say for now. Uh, we'll probably learn about more about this in future videos that I'm gonna make soon, maybe, who knows. But yeah, Happy New Year. Technically, this is my first video of the new year, even though I posted yesterday. Those were recorded last year, technically. So this is the first one, and I do want to make more videos like this. At the same time, making the videos of just me checking in and talking about things, because I kind of need to do that. But Yeah, well, we'll see more of this in the future, and I'm gonna see you again next time. See you.